Hello, 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 and welcome to Angels Don't Lie. I'm your host, Jeannie Street, and I'm so happy that you're here today at the right moment, at the right time. I feel like God always is putting things in alignment for us as we need them. So today's show is a little bit off topic. We're going to talk a little bit about relationships. I say off topic, it's really not, because when we talk about our spiritual well-being, what God wants us to know, we take a little bit of the yumminess from my new book, Believe, Angels Don't Lie. We talk a lot about in that book, and I say we because it's my angels and my team on the other side that I am channeling and delivering this information. So we're teaching from this place of love, this vibrational state of love. And so for me, in the beginning of the year, when we started to think about the end of 2019 and coming into 2020 and the things that I wanted to bring into life, into creation for this new year, I set out to create healthier relationships. And so that looked like I had to first work on my self relationship. So I wanted to talk to you about that today and bring in some of the things that I've worked with over the past 8 months to up level, if you will, my relationship with self, which has automatically helped the relationships I have with other people. So the first cue in with relationship work is, are you having a pattern replay where you are seeing the same type of painful relationships, broken relationships, struggle relationships enter into your life, right? Are you someone that has had trauma in your past? You can experience that same trauma in a romantic relationship again. This has happened. I've seen it with my clients. I even saw it with myself, where I stayed in this lower vibrational rate of, this is what I was taught, so this is what I'm going to become in my relationships. And we set up these, I want to say they're like recovery systems for ourselves, meaning these are habits. These are things that we put into place in order to protect ourselves, right? So that can look like having to prove yourself because you've been told, or you were told, that you weren't good enough as a child. Maybe it was a teacher or a parent or an elder, grandparent, somebody that kind of stood next to you and was telling you what you were doing was wrong and trying to adjust and teach you a new way. But in your little body, because you didn't have the skills yet in order to discern what their truth was and what your own truth is, that you took on, I'm not good enough, my way, I'm not smart enough. Or you might have taken on something like I did, which is, I'm unlovable, right? If I'm like this, if I'm in trouble, that means I'm unlovable. It's a crazy vibration to be in, and it's totally an unhealthy vibe to put out, and that's the vibe you get back. So to do that work, you have to look at your relationship with yourself first. You can't look outside of you, because 50% of the relationship is you, right? So you can only own your side of it. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through what I've done. I've been doing it for a long time, but intently for the last 8 months, even during this pandemic and the scare that we have all over the place, the yucky energy. For me, I have felt personally that this is a time of real growth. This is a time of really owning who I am. It's returning to love. It's returning to the things that are really the most important, which are my family, my immediate circle, and my outer circle, which is, the people that don't live in my home. And I just recently had a conversation with a client who is having a really big struggle in their life. They're going through an immense amount of stress with a family member being arrested and the children having to be taken care of. And it's all this conjumbled yuck. And it's one yucky thing after another. And what do we do with that? We sometimes will get into the drama of it. This is crazy. This, where's my control? We'll lose our balance. And so I was helping my client find her balance in her role in this big, crazy situation. And I think it's really poignant because it really helps us to understand our role in a relationship. So the angels came through right away and they were like, talk to her about the circle, talk to her about the unit. And so that's what we started with. We went into who lives in your home. Those are the people that you're connected to every single day, right? So this is your children that are under your roof. This is your spouse or your significant other, maybe even your pets. This is your immediate circle. You becoming the number one thing that you need to focus on. If you are well, if I am well, and I'm showing up for myself and doing my you work, there's a party boat driving by right now. Can you hear the music? I can't see it, so otherwise I turn the computer so you could see it. So if you're showing up for yourself and you're meditating, say, you're being mindful, there it is. I gotta show you. Hilarious. Wait, it's underneath the palm tree, so you can't really see it too well, can you? They're backing in. They're picking up someone. I'm coming to you live from the Turks and Caicos, beautiful Provincialis, where I've escaped to do some writing, to do some me work. So exactly what I was saying to my client about if you're not good, then the people immediately in your life aren't going to be good, right? So if you own that, I have to show up for my children a certain way. I have to show up for my husband. But first, I must show up for me. So what does that look like? Maybe it's about taking a hot shower. Maybe it's about going for a walk and taking a break for safety's sake. Maybe it is about that mindfulness technique that you can run through so you're really in your body. Because our tendency when we have big shit to deal with is fly out, get out of the body, not feel good, and then fill the void with something else. We fill the void with food, with social media, with sex, with alcohol, with other things outside of self-love. So self-care then becomes the go-to. So there's your number one thing. What's your circle look like? And how are you showing up for the people there? How are you showing up for you? Because if you aren't showing up for you, you're teaching those immediate people, your significant other, your children, the level in which to love you at. Because you only are going to receive love in the level in which you love yourself. That's a big factor. That's something I entered, this work with, knowing like if I want to raise my vibration, if I want to heal the relationships, if I want to attract positive new growth relationships for business, for expansion, for personal friendships, then the level in which I love myself is going to come back to me. And if I'm still trying, if I'm still in this making it, then that's what I'm going to bring in. So we can't change anyone else. And if we think that we're going to do that in any relationship, then we have to get back into this, wait, I'm not in control. What I am in control is this, right? Big work, right? So your circle, look at the circle, look at how you're showing up, look at like, am I being respected here? Am I able to show up with love, or am I frustrated? Am I angry? Am I showing up unplugged from the people that are in my immediate circle? These are questions. I invite you to grab your journal. This is big work. This is like going to be mind-blowing. So look right there. You start within. You start here. What is your relationship with you? Are you respecting yourself? Are you talking crap to yourself? Which, listen, we're human and we all do to some degree. So if you say, no, I'm a self-loving genie, I know. I bet you if we had a phone call, I bet you if your angels came through and your departed loved ones would show up, they would say, what about this area? And what about this? They would bring forth that pain point, because that's my specialty. That's where I work well, right? They just narrow it in, like, let's go in and here's the pain. And now let's work on healing it. So just like I did with my client, how are you showing up in this little circle? She was all over the place, right? She wasn't even in her home. She was in the future. She was in the whatnot. She was in with the outer family. She was not in her own being to show up. So we can't help anybody else if we aren't taking care of ourselves. We can't help our loved ones who might really need us to show up if we're not even helping ourselves. How do we do that when we are in a state of crisis? State of crisis, which is a big deal. And I talk about this in my first book, right? The big threes, the little threes, and how the big threes like can just mess us all up. And then there's a sequence of more things that come afterwards. And we're like, what? I'm done. I can't take anymore. We feel tapped out. That's what this year is like, right? This year is like one big thing after the other 2020 has brought for us. Again, for me, it has not been in a space of lack. It's been in a space of more time to be with my family, more time to love and be respectful and grateful, more times to be grateful, more time to sit in prayer, to pray for the people that have contracted this illness, who have lost family members, to show up for them, to be of service, right? To the unknown isn't where I'm going to go. It's what I do know. It's what I do know. And what God is showing me right here and now is we're safe. I'm okay. And if I'm okay, and if I'm in the vibration of love, then I can do my work. I'm not going to go into what tomorrow is going to bring. Does that mean that I don't have goals? Nope. It's like I have goals, but then you release the goals, right? You have them, but you don't hoard them. So if you think about your energy, are you a hoarder? Like, I want, or I can't, right? What are you hoarding? We all hoard in some way, shape, or form because we have had experiences that have taught us you were this or you were that. So I think that's your first journal prompt is, who are you? What are you? Right? What defines you? So what used to define me was I had to work really hard to prove my value, to prove my worth. I had to work for other people to validate me because I wasn't worthy inside. I wasn't worthy because I didn't really see that as a self-love technique. I figured for the outside world to show up and say, oh, that reading was amazing, or you're gifted, or you're talented, or blah, blah, blah. Like that would fill me up. But time and time and again, I was left feeling like I suck. Time and time again, I was left feeling like I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not showing up enough. I'm not giving enough readings. I'm not going and going and going until I'm exhausted. Like that to me was like, oh, now I'm a value. When really it was about coming inward and being still and being gentle and kind and honoring the gift, right? And being grateful for the people that I have worked with. And then really praying for the people that are in need of my voice, of my skill set, of my talent, that they're automatically going to come to me, that I don't have to work that hard. I have to just attract it. Relationship stuff, right? It's all about the relationships. You have a relationship with your clients. You have a relationship with your coworkers. You have a relationship with the people that you're going to church with or who you're hanging out with. You have relationships all the time. So if your relationship with yourself is struggle, guess what? Your relationships in the outside world are going to be struggle. So here are some tips that I entered. These are the 3 questions that I started at the beginning of the year, right? Because I wanted my relationships to be in a vibration of love. I wanted to own my part of some past relationship stuff that went bad. And I wanted to really get to the core. I want to call it like that little ping, that little pain point to heal it. So I showed up in a very real way. And this was my intention, that I would enter the relationship when it was brought to me, whether it was through a memory, the angels brought it forward, or that person who maybe I'd broken away from came back into my life. I entered each teaching as a blessing, right? That I knew that I was going to attract what I needed to heal. So the 3 questions I asked to begin healing my side of the relationship was, how was I reactive in that relationship? How was I reactive in that relationship. And we're talking about Goddess 101 stuff here. So I was like, that's a good one, angels. I love it, right? Because I can't change anything but my own reaction. So how was I reactive in that relationship? And I sat with this without judgment. Another huge one, without judgment. I just allowed myself to love myself wholly and just say, you're safe to say and not judge yourself. 2, what are the things that triggered the reaction? So this is another big step, because now I'm going to look at, well, that reaction came, right? I blew my top, I yelled, I was, I swore, I whatever I did. But what was the trigger for me? What triggered me? What was the feeling that I got that triggered the old emotion that like just pushed this old behavior forward? It's huge, right? 3, what actions did I take and what state of mind was I in? So the action I took, right, was to get like physical with my voice and whatever, use my words, because that becomes a physical pain for somebody else when you're mean. And what state of mind was I in? So was I in a love state of mind? Was I in a receiving state of mind? Like I wanted to receive love. I wanted to receive the words they were saying, right? I had built up a barrier for myself, so I couldn't even receive constructive criticism. Anytime somebody approached me to give me a criticism of any type, I immediately went into defense, right? So that's something I learned very well this past year, which really kind of, oh my God, it just showcased so much about me. Like, and then I was able to work with these things with my therapist. And so this is the next step, is that you have to have a team of light workers, right? Doing this work is big, right? It's not meant for you to do on your own. I'm not meant to heal my own self, even though I have these crazy, cool, amazing gifts and I can help other people. I need other people to help me too. And if I want other people to come to me, then I must be willing to go to other people. So it's like this really beautiful evolution of like, it's okay, I'm safe to allow people in. I'm safe to allow that in. I'm safe to have this experience. I don't have to be defensive. I don't have to be harsh. I can be soft and I can learn and I can grow. Bingo. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So for me, I made a list of 4 suggested team light workers for you. Like, what would you need in your wheelhouse in order to like really go forward? I definitely feel like a therapist, and knowing what you have had in your past. So I would get a therapist that worked and specialized around that. So for me, I knew that I wanted somebody that worked with energy, that understood the vibe that I'm in and who I am, and also worked with trauma, because trauma had played a big role in stopping me from moving forward. So that was a really must for me. So I recommend a therapist that's in and does energy work, but also specializes in an area that you are looking, that you are hopeful to get out of. Okay. Next was a massage healer. And this for me also was somebody that understood energy, that I worked with a gal who she's got freaking awesome skills. So she does angel reading. She really taps in with the body well. Like she can move energy without even like doing too much physical, because sometimes when you're in a state of pain, it's because that trauma has become that pain. So I had a lot of fibromyalgia type of energy. And so I worked with her to start to release that. And along with the therapist, oh my gosh, it was like amazing. So as of today, I have no physical pain because of what I've done. The next thing I worked with was a naturopath. And for me, because I have always, it's just who I've been for as long as I can remember. Health and nutrition, these are things that always spoke to me. I mean, when we were first married and we lived down in Danbury, I joined the War Memorial. If you guys live local, you know the War Memorial is not necessarily the best place to go, but it was a place I could go to exercise. And I would go to exercise, when I was 20 something. It was really important to me. And I didn't know why. And I always read books that were like self-help and spiritual. And talked about the other side. These were all the things that I still do. That was who I was, and it really is who I am. So I just upped that, and I worked with people that have that same language. So that naturopath, she also works with acupuncture, also with this energy. So for me, that was really important. She understood energy. She was on the vibe I was on. She might not understand me completely. That's okay. But I could work with her to bring in the nutrients that my body needed. And that was like the most amazing part, was because having some blood work, having some, nutrients that match you, that pair with you to lift you and help you to release is huge. And then the fourth thing is a trusted friend to dialogue with. And I don't mean somebody that's going to be your yes person, that's going to be like, you're so amazing and they're such assholes and blah, 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 blah. Not a gossipy person. This trusted person has to be one that's going to be real with you and say, tell me what you mean by that, or helping you to get out of the old story and into the vibration that you want to be in. So you're very clear with this person, like, this is the old and this is who I am. And this is what I'm trying to, match my identity, because this is who I know that I have to be. So I'm going to be that. Will you help me? Will you show up for me? And you allow that person to come in and listen and hear and dialogue with you. And you say thank you, and you accept that you don't push away. And if they trigger you, you spend time in your journal. You spend time understanding why you were triggered. You even go to your therapist. What was it that triggered you, so that you know that that reaction doesn't serve you anymore. It's huge work. So then I got this is like, I'm telling you, this is a crazy amount of work, but when it's all lined up for you, like, I'm making it so easy for you. And this is going to be, I'm actually going to create a sheet for you guys that you can download. It's all the hard work is done for you. So you can just set up and start doing it. And what you're going to find on the other side is you're going to find you shining and bright and happy and ready to take that next foot forward, next right step forward in your own life. All right. So then I added, and I have a really amazing spiritual routine, but I wanted to make it very clear and intentful that here were my top 6 things that I'm going to do without doubt. One was hydration, because I've always known about hydration, but I haven't followed it well, because I just always felt like, well, the more I drink, the more I pee. And the more I drink, the more I have to get out of bed and I have to go to the bathroom. And the more I have to stop what I'm doing to go to the bathroom. So I think I drink enough. And so I would have tea and whatever. But then, I was working with my massage person, and she's totally tapped in, and she's like, your angels are showing you are not drinking enough water. And so I told her what I was drinking during the day, and she's like, no, tea doesn't count. Anything that you mix with water doesn't count as water, because your body automatically thinks it's not water. And so it processes it differently. But when you start to reach a level of the hydration that your body needs, you won't go to the bathroom. Your body starts absorbing it. You're teaching your body to do something different. So I started to do this. And the way to figure out the amount of water that you need is basically you take your weight and you divide it by 2. And that that half amount is what you need to drink. So I started drinking, mine was 60 ounces of water. And I started drinking that 60 ounces every single day. And I started in the morning I have a big mason jar that's, with my hand up, that's 24 ounces. And I fill that and I drink that before I do anything else. So that's my first 24 ounces of water, is first thing in the morning, straight out of bed. And that's what I'm doing. And then I'll do another one a little bit later on. And it's so easy. Like, I've already met, almost actually more than half of my amount for the day by doing that. Here's one first thing in the morning, and then here's one before I get back into work. And then throughout the day, I have a water bottle I fill up, and that's, the third portion. So can you up that hydration level? And that also helped with the pain for me. Huge, huge. Helps releasing, helps everything. Hold on, let me get my list back up. The next one, which I already had in practice, but I added it's my meditation practice and I do this morning routine, but I added a mindfulness technique, which is very powerful and really effective. And I'm actually doing a series right now, my Angel Meditation Mastery series, where I'm teaching this technique. So check that out if it interests you. It's phenomenal. The third thing, movement every single day, no matter what, yoga or movement, some sort of stretching, some sort of exercise, movement. And some days it just looks like me in front of the mirror, and I have this routine that I don't know, I call it like my Jack LaLanne routine, because I'm just doing exercises standing up. I do some leg crunches, I do some squats, I do some ab work, I do some arm work, and that's what I do before I, fully dress for the day. Because if my morning starts early, then I have to do that earlier. But something every day. And sometimes it looks like yoga at night before I go to bed, which is amazing. My prayer and journaling, because this is all part of that morning routine for me. And that happens, my prayers throughout the day, honestly. The next up, number 5, is your high vibe eating. It's not about a diet. It's about high vibrational eating. It's about eating what matches your body. Again, this is something I'm really passionate about, and I always have been. I've woven this practice into my angel healer training because it is super effective for raising your vibrational rate. It's super effective for having you be really open to hear spirit, to hear your angels, to connect with God. And without high vibrational eating, you're only going so far. Your level is only going to go so far. And then 6 was supplements and cleanses that were going to renew my cell and help build up. So I actually chose to do this 90-day heavy metal detox. And so this is a really big investment, this particular program I did. But I knew going in that I was already pretty good with my vibration, with my supplements. But there was some stuff that I knew that I wasn't getting. And so it just really spoke to me, and that's what I decided to do. And it's been incredible, really incredible. So it starts with like getting your body ready, and then it goes into a cleanse part. The next phase is like the brain phase. It's just totally just building you up as it's taking those heavy metals out. And it's super amazing. So those were the main components of my year of showing up for that relationship. Tons and tons and tons of self-love, tons of gentleness. And when I heard that voice, that internal voice showing up like yucky, whatever it was, I would go back into prayer, or I'd go back into this mantra of I am holy, I am cherished, I am loved. And it's just a reminder of how God speaks to us, right? How God speaks to you is on the vibration of love. You are love. You are an extension of love. So if you embody love, if that's who you are, if that's who you choose to be, well, then more love will come to you. Oh my gosh. And so all of this year, what has come to me from showing up and doing this work is like more yummy things, new things that have come, some tapping stuff. I was following a beautiful friend of mine, Jackie McDonald, who's teaching this wildly manifesting tapping. And it's so effective and so beautiful. And I've worked with tapping before, but her way is amazing, the McDonald method, and I highly recommend it. So that was one. Some law of attraction stuff that's come in, which for me, it has to be on the vibration of God, because if you're going to manifest, and I talk about this in my new book, Believe Angels Don't Lie, it's not about manifesting from fear or ego. The egotistical way is never going to bring you joy. You're going to get those things and you're not going to be fulfilled, right? But it's about manifesting with your truth, right? The soul self, that yumminess of who you are, you and God together, you and the divine together. And so it's about cleaning up the internal stuff that has kept you in the sameness to realize that you get to be the person that you want. It's all about that choice, right? That choice. You get to be the person that you choose to be. And it's only believable to the outside world when you are true to your core. that it's not a fake persona, that it's not a persona that you've picked up from an outside view. It is a truth of your core of who you are. So that identity of your soul can only be found when you're truly in alignment with you, when you have cleaned up the relationships, when you are loving yourself wholly, Holy, holy. It's a ginormous thing. It's really incredible, actually. So I don't know. I was just so passionate about this, and my husband and I are away right now because we had to cut our trip back in January short, and we decided we would move it to the end of August, which is our anniversary. And actually, my birthday was last week, so it falls right in between. And so we're here for 3 weeks. We're just 1 weekend, and what we do while we're here is he sleeps most of the time. Because it's his way of letting go, because he runs his own business and he's always going, literally. Like, he's not a guy that comes home and sits still. He's a guy that's like just going, like, pretty much 20 hours a day. So that's what he does, is just he's still. And what I do is I am going inward, and I am self-loving, and I am nurturing, and I'm getting back into the alignment of what my soul is showing me the next right move is, right? That next right step for me, not what the outside world is wanting, not the pulls and tugs from the family. It's just right here. And so that's where I come up with, either I write my books here, I get those next great ideas. It all comes from just being still. It's hard for me because I'm a Leo. I'm a girl. Like, I want to party. I want to have fun. But to be still and quiet means I have to be okay to be with me. It means I got to be okay to be still and be quiet so I can hear what God has to say. That's a really important part of your relationship work. So I would question you to say, like, how are you showing up for yourself? How are you loving yourself? Especially now during the pandemic, when there's so much lack, right? And there's so much fear with the political climate and everything that's happening in our world. Are you okay, right? Like, checking in to see, where do you stand? And if you're outside of the opinionation of what's happening in the outside, so social media, news, kind of chaos, and you are here in your body, you can hear what God has to say about the things that are important for you, about where to focus your direction on, right? Because fear is a pandemic. Fear wants more people to join that story. I talk very clearly about that evil energy that lives here on our planet in my new book, because it is a fact that evil's propaganda is, let me spread more fear. If more fear is spread, then I have people. I've got them. And that means he's got them away from God. He's got them away from the light, from possibility, from belief, from truth, from divinity, from wisdom. If I have you over here, you can't get to the light and the truth of you. So to break that code, to break free from that yuck, requires you to be still within you. Take a break. Walk away. Take a break from social media. Walk away. Be still. Be still with you. Don't make a big drama scene. Don't tell people you're doing it. Just go inward. Go over to my website and get the new meditation album that goes with Believe Angels Don't Lie. It is phenomenal. Start listening to some high vibration podcast and motivational speakers. Like, listen to people like Kyle Cease, even Carrie Green from the Female Entrepreneur. I'm trying to get some people up here. Jackie McDonald, who I think is amazing. I'll try to get some more and post them for you. Get yourself in a mindset of positivity, right? Of working with divinity, of working with the Holy Spirit. Make that your most important relationship and watch what happens. Watch what happens. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I hope you have a most beautiful day. Love you guys. And if you have any questions, please send them in. be sure to write a review on the podcast too. I never asked this, but it would mean the world to me if you would just take a few minutes of your day and just write a review for the podcast, letting us know like you're liking it, that the things that are motivating you, or what we can work on. We were just so happy to hear from you. So if you take that 5 minutes, I would be really, really grateful and really appreciative. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. And you know what I know, because angels don't lie. God bless. See you guys next time.
The truth when she smiles at